Oh, right guys, this is my Mitsubishi Triton 2005 GLXR, and we've got some issues. It is blowing white smoke and knocking. I remember I'll put in a bit of a video clip of that. Oh, we can probably just start it still. Let's just start it. White smoking. Okay, now why it's doing that, it's actually got a couple of injectors that are either blocked, clogged or similar. So what we're going to do today is we're going to pull the intake off to get to our fuel injectors down in here. It's actually fairly convenient the way they've mounted the intercooler like this. A couple of plugs down here for a temperature sensor, one for a fan, the fan one apart. It's normally always a squeeze or something. So we got this whole big intercooler frame pulled apart. Switch it over here. That. Undo that a bit further. And that one. I love it when we can undo things with the impacts. I think that'd fall off. What's that like in there? It's still a little bit oily. I didn't actually pull it off to clean it, but now we have this far apart, we can actually give the intercooler itself a good and proper man, they're good hoses. Right. Intercooler assembly. Whole thing comes off in one big piece. Which is obviously awesome. Now we've just got some fuel injectors. 1, 2, 3, 4. All we have to do is undo the lines, gently move them back out of the way, undo the return line run, which is just held in by a lock nut, and undo the main line. So first thing I'm going to do this after dinner now. First thing we're going to do is we're going to spray it with some CRC. It is just strategically had out already. Make sure that everything we want to be able to undo comes undone semi-willingly. There's nothing worse than stuff that won't come undone. So, yeah. Okay, so anytime you can use one of these wrenches to pull something like this out, you really should. Ones that are made to go over a line. Brake line wrench maybe, that'd be cool. Once you get that crack, that's not too bad. Just hope these feel like coming undone. Ooh, yeah. But come straight undone, so that's okay. What size is that? It's 17mm. Be careful with some of these things because they can be so tight. See a few burr marks on the nut where it might have been tried to be undone with a screwdriver or similar at some stage, which isn't uncommon. You run something like one of these out of fuel, got it, and you'd be on the side of the road, and if you've got a shifter, you've got a shifter. The old saying, if it looks like, if only thing you've got's a hammer, everything looks like a nail. Never truer than with a breakdown. That's 3. There's Buddy number 4 down here. There he is. Give him a gentle tap with a soft-faced hammer. Oh, straight away. Needed a little bit of an impact to start. That is 4 injector lines undone. It'd be a nice day if that was the right size. Well, we can actually use a socket for these ones. Go to a socket. Okay. Drop down. You sit just there somewhere. Alright. Got the return rail off. Down here out of the way. So we'll get a long socket, deep impact socket, or just a deep socket up over this one. And see what size that is. Seems to be bigger than 21. I reckon it's just 22. I'll get the ratchet and see what it does. Okay, just to confirm, it's 22mm. Now these super cheap auto 22mm wheel nut. And there she is. So I'm just going to bag these up and take them straight to the injection guy. I'm not going to even attempt to do anything with them. I'll let him deal with all of that. So we might push these through a bit of cardboard so we know which one's which, and then yeah, get them off to the injection guy on Monday. We'll get the rest out. Okay, well, I thought I was filming a bit of this, but I wasn't. See the nice little red caps. We've just put new injectors in. Not crazy through the process yet, so I thought I'd catch back up. Basically, the injectors have been rebuilt. It's $440 later. He said they've been flow tested. I didn't get any documentation for the quality of that, but they've been flow tested. Now what I'm doing is I'm installing the return rail again. Held on by these locking nuts. Now be careful when you undo these locking nuts. The last one, when I removed these, I actually dropped one of the locking nuts down behind the starter motor, and that was not the greatest thing to have to retrieve. Quite a pain. The starter motor's hard against the block. It was just by chance that I managed to snag it with my finger. I don't know how I even managed to see it down there, but I digress. We've got it. And wind these on here, like so. This back cylinder is the only one that really requires a stepping stool. Now, if you follow me on TikTok, a lot of you won't, but if you're a bit of a person that likes to play with TikTok, you'll know that I'm doing these before I do the glow plugs. The glow plugs turned up as well. Main reason I'm doing these before the glow plugs is because the glow plugs have that little nut on top, that one, and that would actually fit down inside the head through this port with the injectors out of it, like when I was doing it. So I decided against even having that as a remote possibility, and said we'll do the injectors first. And we're going to have to leave all these lines cracked before we try and start it, because they're all going to be full of air. Hopefully I will be able to do this myself. Might use a socket for that, there's no pipe in the way. So I'll stick it to that 17. Got the heater on out here, it's cold tonight. 17's not in the set because I'm using it for something, no doubt. 17. Let's grab ourselves an extension. Of course, my torque wrench isn't here, it's in the other workshop. Which is another reason why I probably need to get rid of that other workshop, because this happens way too often. So the fella that serviced these injectors, rebuilt them, he's actually engraved his initials into them and some other number. I can't really tell what the other number is. So whether he keeps a log of what he's worked on, really good if he does, because if these fail in a short period of time, they'll certainly be going back to him. It's not a $5 process, and after watching a few videos of how people have done them themselves, really kicking myself for taking them in and dropping them off. Aside from having a flow bench, I would have enjoyed doing it myself, I reckon. But anyhow, not the biggest issue in the world. Okay, let's gently get our steel lines back. If stuff like this doesn't go by hand, you're forcing it, you shouldn't have to. You should be able to do just that. Bend your lines back where they come from, line them up. You should be able to finger screw all this kind of stuff back together. Remember, this is a 2005 model. Yeah, it's not 35 years old. You shouldn't be forcing shit. Look at this, straight in. Okay, rag out of the intake. Hopefully the battery's still good to go. See what happens when we try and wind it over. Out of gear. Give it a glow, even though the glow plugs are sad. Okay, we'll have to chuck a battery charger on. Certainly knew this would be a possibility. There is a little bit of a squirt of diesel up the top there, so that's a good start. We'll crack these off to make sure they are wide open. Get a charger on this thing. And that one's tightened up. I wonder if that's actually tried to pump. That's why this open-ended tube spanner thing is such a good thing. Okay, get some power into this bad boy, and I'll be back. That seems relatively smooth. No ginormous white smoke cloud. Right, that starts pretty nice. Righto, intercooler back on. Put some crap back together and see what it runs like. It's definitely not smoky compared to what it was. While it was cranking, I did spray a little bit of CRC into the intake to see if it would go pop, and it didn't. So there is a little bit of CRC in the intake. Might just blow all that off with the blower and give everything good wipe down to make sure we've got no diesel leaks, because it would suck to put it all back together and then have it leaking. And then, yeah, we'll go and take it for a drive.